Good afternoon, everyone. I'm June Riley, founder and CEO of VC Task Force. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And as you know, VC Task Force is an organization that supports the venture community by addressing issues of the day. And Gary's Picks is a program that interviews incredibly interesting entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs. And now I'm going to turn the floor over to Gary to carry out the program. So take it away, Gary.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, June. Great to have everybody here today. As June said, my name is Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've been involved in 17 startups and several unicorns. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And with that, we have an incredible guest today, Alex Raychuk. Alex is a serial entrepreneur. He is the founder and CEO of Medentee Limited. They're using evolving modern IT technologies where Medentee is passionate, dedicated, creating solutions for efficient interaction between healthcare professionals. It aims to enhance the medical world, providing safe, compliant, and simple-to-use communication platforms and team collaboration tools. But beyond that, he's got an incredible amount of experience. He's got experience in electrical engineering, medical devices, the dental industry. Oh, I just had an implant recently. I got to hear about that. He's particularly interested in entrepreneurship in the field of intersection between IT, technologies, and medicine. And he's also got a background in augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and blockchain in order to be able to make the patients' lives better. So with that, great to have you here, Alex. How you doing today?
Hello, Gary. Nice to see you again here, and hello from Berlin, from Germany.
I was kidding him earlier. I said, "Das ist fantastic," right?
That is fantastic.
Great. And so it's great to be here. So, you went to, oh, by the way, I'm going to be with Technion. I'm going to be with the president of Technion on January 7th, actually. So interesting. I see that you went to Technion. But how did you go? You went to school in Israel. You're originally from Ukraine, correct? Or Russia?
Not exactly. I'm originally from Belarus, actually way back to USSR, Soviet Union. And I was raised in Belarus till the age of 16, and then I left to Israel.
And then, so as you've gone down through your journey, so you went to Haifa, University of Haifa after Technion, then you went to Nicosia. Why did you go to Nicosia? That's really interesting. Did you just say, oh, I want to come down to an island and enjoy myself, and this is a great place to go to school? Or what happened? Why did you do that?
Let's start with that Cyprus is a very nice and beautiful island, and Nicosia is a very interesting city, indeed. But regarding my education, I think that the University of Nicosia is quite innovative university, and they offer very high quality education, mostly online education, in a very interesting subject. And this subject is digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain. And they were the first to introduce the master degree to the world, and they had an incredible staff and professors. And I was very curious to know about new technologies, new things, and I thought that to learn from the best is a very good experience to expand my horizons and to understand better what is going on in the world.
So, when you were at Technion, you worked at EasyChip, and you did that for a year. How was that? Was Technion tough? By the way, was it a tough school? University?
Technion is a very tough school, and I like the way they manage their studies. Actually, the most important for Technion is to put you in a condition during exams, which is really unexpected task. And in order to pass the exam, you need to be very creative. So even if you learn very well and you know all the material, you cannot expect that you pass the exam, and you need to be really creative during the exam in order to pass it. So what they do, they prepare you for the real life experience, which is not straightforward. It's not enough nowadays just to learn the stuff and to go and to perform well. You need to know how to apply this stuff to the reality. And to apply it, it's not usually straightforward. It's going to be very creative and innovative. And I am really grateful to this experience in Technion, that they gave me this foundation to be to look for creative things and not to look to it, in the regular way.
So when you went down through that, then you went to Elbit and Haifa. So how in the world did you go? Now, would you wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm going to be a diplomat. I'm going to go to the second Secretary and Counsel for Immigration"? Did you just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to go to Russia and I want to be in"? How did you do that? How did you go from being an engineer to being a second Secretary and Counsel for Immigration?
The world is very complicated nowadays, and when you are very curious, you would like to experience the world from different angles. And I started as an engineer, and quite quickly understood that in order to really understand the world, you need to go and to see and to experience other things. And being a diplomat, and I had the opportunity to apply to be a diplomat. It was my luck to be in the right time in the right place. And I went to be a diplomat in Russia to represent Israel there. I think it was a really outstanding experience for me as a person to understand how the world is working, not just from the technological part, but also from the political part, from the part of human beings, and to see new places, to understand also how business is working in other places. And so I believe that nowadays every person who is going to be a businessman should be kind of a generalist and to understand the world from different angles.
Yeah, no, you're right, because that makes you, it actually shows that diversity grows a company, whatever that is, cultural diversity, et cetera. It's actually really good for a company. So you did that, but was it interesting? Because you were there for 2 years. Like, was it interesting to be over with Russian speakers again? Did it make you feel comfortable? And how was it? Did it feel like you were home?
I spent there a little bit more than 3 years, actually. And it was quite interesting experience for me to come back to, former Soviet Union, to represent another country, Israel in my case, and to speak in Russian to the local people. And it was already another Russia. It was not the Russia that I was used to when I was a child in the Soviet Union. It was already post-Soviet Union Russia with different stand of mind of people. And it was also Siberia. It wasn't in the European part of Russia. It
Really?
was
What city
different.
was that?
And it was Novosibirsk, and Siberia by itself is a very interesting part of the world. It's Asia, it's not Europe. And the most interesting part of it is incredible nature, and its strength of the nature and the variety of it. It's really fascinating, and the Siberian people are really interesting because it's not just Russian people, I mean ethnically Russian, but a lot of other people living there, and you understand the country much better when you are in Siberia than you are in the European part, because European part is more or less the same, but the Siberia is really different, and you can fly from city to city, fly 3 or 4 hours, and without seeing, a human being in between. It's incredible.
No, I flew from Moscow to Vladivostok one time, and I hit I'll never forget, I hit Vladivostok, and the weather, it was minus 38 degrees outside. I'd never experienced that kind of weather in my life. And I got outside and I thought, this place is beautiful, but I'm going to freeze to death. That was the first thing I thought. And then I went up north to Khabarovsk from there in a yak. Actually, it was really interesting. And, so there's incredible experience. So you got back, you did that, and then you went back over to Israel. And how did you get in the office of the Prime Minister? How did that happen? You just woke up one day and said, "Oh, I want to try something else."
Actually, it was following my experience as a diplomat, so it just was an inertia, to go there for some additional time to manage a project in the Bureau of Statistics. And, the variety of these experiences led me finally to understand that I would like to be involved in business. Because business can combine all these aspects that I experienced from the technical part and from the political or diplomatic part and the office of prime minister and all this stuff led me to the conclusion that the business or startup was finally the way to go in order to implement all these fields of knowledge, all this experience in one place.
And so, you went to you went to the company in Berlin that's the small family-run implant manufacturer. Well, how did you go from that, being a diplomat, to freaking implant manufacturing? You just woke up one day and said, "Oh, I want to try dentist stuff. This sounds interesting." How did
Yeah,
that
well, yeah, when I decided to go to business, I understood that I need to find a place where I can learn a lot because I didn't have enough experience. I experienced just to see how other people did their businesses around me. And a lot of very interesting examples how they did it, and a lot of successful people I got a chance to meet in the past, but I never did it by myself. So I thought I need to find a place where I can learn from almost from the beginning, but I cannot do it by myself yet. So I found a company which was relatively small, but not too small. It was kind of a startup, but quite mature startup, run by two brothers. And I understood that there I can develop my abilities in business and also to contribute from my previous knowledge. And it was following my MBA studies. So that was a dental field. I didn't choose dentistry on purpose. It was just coincidence that this company with the profile that I looked for was on my way at that time.
And so, you went down through that, and then all of a sudden, again, you were doing implants. You said, "Oh, I'm going to go to blockchain."
Blockchain,
How did
no, not exactly. Blockchain, it was during my work at dentist in the dental field, it just was an explosion of this, blockchain stuff with cryptocurrencies. And I understood immediately that because I was very curious also in financial developments and financial technologies. So I thought that I need to learn it. And then I went to the Nicosia University to learn for the master degree and tried myself also in the blockchain field in the way that I studied a lot of cryptocurrencies, how they worked, invested in part of them, attended events, and also was part of the founding team for Oxford Blockchain Foundation. But it was alongside of my work in dentistry. And then, it's also contributed to my understanding because financial part, especially the digital currencies and cryptocurrencies, can contribute significantly to any kind of a business that you are going to develop. Because I believe in integration and fintech and financial solutions almost always a part of any integrated system.
And so, as you're going down through that, then you get into Medentee. So what made you decide to move into, using these evolving technologies in the medical world? So how did you do that? Was it because of some background, because of the implants? But where did you decide, well, there's got to be, this sufficient interaction between healthcare professionals? And what was your experience that led up to Medentee?
During my work at MS Implants Technologies in dentistry with dental implants, I had an experience to see how dental professionals communicate, how they cooperate with their colleagues. And I realized that every professional, every healthcare professional, not just the dental professional, has a real challenge in managing all the channels of their communication. And they have plenty of channels for communication. So every professional communicates with their colleagues, and they have several clinics or work in several hospitals, and they attend events, and they belong to different communities, professional communities. And for each and every of these channels, they have separate application, which is offered to them by organization. So they don't really have a choice which application to choose. And what is happening, a lot of fragmentation, a lot of complexity in all these channels of communication. And they were struggling with that. So I understood that many applications are made and tailored for organizations. And they frequently forget about how the single healthcare professional, dentist or general medicine, how they communicate and what other channels they have outside of this single organization. So I decided to go in this direction and to find a solution for this problem. And that's why Medentee was established then.
No, that sounds great. And so tell us what's happening with Medentee today. Like, where are you in terms of your growth of your company? What kind of partnerships you're looking for worldwide? Where are you right now?
So we developed our platform for 3 years, and we started developing it 1 month before the pandemic took place. So it took us a while to get to the consolidated communication hub system, because this kind of solution cannot be like just 1 or 2 channels. It should create a real hub for all channels. Otherwise, we cannot fight fragmentation. That's why it took us a while to develop the first version. It was mobile application and web version. And 2 months ago, we launched it quite successfully during Medtech World event in Malta. It was attended by several thousand of people, and we represented Medentee there as an official community platform for this event, and onboarded quite a lot of attendees. And our way to the market is to approach it via 2 major channels in the beginning, via events, professional events, to provide them with their application for events management, and via communities and their, let's say, the link between events and communities, because we realized that nowadays event organizers don't really monetize communities that they create during the events, because some of the organizers manage events for years, but they don't really think about how to monetize communities out of the event. And we realized that it's our good market entry point via these 2 channels. So the link between communities and events, and that's what we see for the next 2024 year, to approach event organizers, community managers, and to onboard as many users as possible via these 2 channels.
And then, so where are you going to go geographically? What regions are you going to with your tool?
So we are starting from Europe, and the company is based in the United Kingdom. So we are focusing on the United Kingdom first, but because we are targeting event organizers and community managers, this is happening internationally. That's why we're also quite international oriented, and we will start from Europe, and we'll go also to Asia and the Middle East, and the next step will be already to the North America. But currently we are focusing on Europe at the first step on the market.
And then, have you been raising money? Did you raise money for the company already?
We have raised so far several rounds of angel investment, and we are about to start our seed rounds very soon. But so far, so good. We can move forward with what we have. As we know now, times for investment is really challenging now. So we believe that 2024, at least the second part of this year, will be more suitable to look for additional investment. But currently, we are focused on go-to-market strategy and to delivering the best product possible to the users.
And so how big is your team?
Currently, we have 20 team members, and mostly half of them are dealing with the development, and we are starting to create the business development team, sales team, and preparing ourselves for go-to-market. We already started our way in the market, but we are working systematically, and we would like to prepare properly all aspects of our business for the systematic approach.
And so, if you look at it, what's your goals with the company? If you look at the next 5 years, what goals do you have?
We will be very happy to supply this solution to most of healthcare professionals in order to simplify their ways of communication, in order to make them more efficient and to have more time for their patient. Because nowadays there is a big challenge with a lot of information that flows to healthcare professionals, and they are really overwhelmed how to learn new things about their profession, about new technologies, about new ways of treatments. And if on top of that, they have fragmented communication channels, they're not efficient. So we would like to contribute to this part to make them more efficient on the communication part. And we believe that we will contribute our part to free their time to patients.
So, as you've worked in the startup environment for a long time. What are 3 things that you would tell startups that are looking to go global like you are? What would you tell them? What words of wisdom would you, if you could look at yourself 20 years ago, what would you tell yourself now?
I would say don't rush to make your team bigger from the beginning. Be very careful with that. Find the right people. But first of all, try to automate processes. And especially now when you have AI technologies, try to make your system more efficient with as few people as possible and as more automation as possible before you're going and increasing your team. Nowadays, I believe in small teams moving quickly. I believe in automation, and I believe, of course, in AI, but which is used in the smart way. The second thing, I would say that don't add with your product to additional fragmentation. Think about how you are going to integrate your next product to the existing system or to create a system by yourself. Because if you're offering even a very good solution, but it's a standalone solution, you will have quite quickly a lot of competitors which by themselves will add to more fragmentation than to consolidation. And nowadays, in my opinion, the most serious problem of the market is variety of different solutions which are not consolidated and not creating a system. So think about systems. And the third recommendation, it's probably about investment strategy. Don't think in traditional way of investment. Nowadays, times have changed, and you have a lot of alternatives. You don't need probably as much investment as in the past, because now you can have much smaller teams. You can apply AI tools, and you don't need a lot of budget in order to go forward. So my advice would be, think about how much money you're going to take, because it's probably not worth it, not worth these expenses, and be more efficient with your processes with automation. So just to summarize, I would say that don't hire big teams from the beginning. Think about system integration, not about fragmentation with your product. And the third, don't take money that you don't need, especially now when you can use AI technologies.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you have to have more efficient processes. I know, from my standpoint, you set those up. So with bookkeepers and your accountants, seamless systems with things like QuickBooks. At the same time, customer development is really important. Sometimes we build things that we know are interesting, but other people may not. So you got to do your customer development, and you got to go out to the market and test to see if they like it or not. As my friend Bob Dorf and Steve Friends say, if they grab it out of your hands and they're willing to take money out of their pocket, then you hit it. The other thing is, you're right. You got to build these teams. You got to be very efficient. You don't want to, sometimes we hire salespeople too early in the cycle before we have a product ready to go, and we try to force them to sell something that doesn't exist. And that vaporware sometimes is a dangerous situation where people get so bullheaded, because the salespeople will sell anything. And if it doesn't exist, they'll sell something. And what happens is reputational in the market. They end up understanding that, you may not have the right stuff. They used to call it vaporware, right? That's something that doesn't exist, but people talk about. So it's important. The other thing is, you need culturally diverse, decentralized teams. And if you look at it, and also intergenerational. By that I mean the people with gray hair, people that have gone through it a bit, that can give you some ideas and also have the networking contacts and the access to capital that you may or may not have. Those kind of things. And if you do those, what we say, Alex, you can pivot any company to success, right? If you have access to capital, networking contacts, and operational expertise, and you have a resilient team that's not afraid of and flexible to pivot, any company can be pivoted. It just means you got to put your head down and not be afraid. So yeah, it's great having you on the show today. So what are closing words that you would say to the audience, the investors out there, and also other startups? And what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can be contacted on LinkedIn. It's the most efficient way to get in touch with me. But maybe the last word that I would like to add in the era of AI technologies, I would like to emphasize once again the system approach. Why? Because I believe that AI solutions will work perfectly on systems, and they will be more efficient to optimize systems. And if you build a standalone solution, AI probably would not have a lot of impact here. So now is an era of systems, integrated approach, and AI. And if your product is not part of it, probably you can miss something in this case. So thank you, Gary, for this wonderful talk, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, as always, Alex, it's good to see you. And it's good to be here on Gary's Picks. Thanks, June, and to all the VC Task Force team for another exciting edition of Gary's Picks. We bring you real-life experiences with entrepreneurs to give you an idea of what kind of grit, what type of resilience that they need to have for their companies to be able to make the world a little bit better place. And for that, I thank everyone. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. God bless, and whatever holiday you're celebrating, enjoy yourselves, and let's look to an incredible new year. Thanks, June. You're on mute, June.
I'd like to thank both Gary and Alex, and thank you for sharing your background with us, Alex, and an incredible interview that you've provided, Gary, and it was another outstanding event. And I too wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful, warm and wonderful holiday. And I look forward to seeing you. Actually, we're having another event in a couple of weeks. So we will see you then. So I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.